Can a computer algorithm be racist? Or is racism only something we can attribute to human beings? Algorithms aren't racist. They focus only on outcomes. If we apply that same outcome-focused logic to the algorithm itself, then the answer is a resounding yes. Computer algorithms can and do create racist outcomes regardless of a lack of male intent. What if YouTube isn't racist, but it still produces racist results? That's the part people try to gloss over, because an algorithm doesn't need hate in its heart to discriminate. Hell, it doesn't even have a heart. It just follows patterns. And if the patterns it learns come from biased, even racist human behavior, then that bias doesn't disappear. It becomes automated and magnified, spreading far and wide. YouTube's algorithm isn't programmed to be racist, but that doesn't mean it isn't. Here's the framework. The algorithm learns from human behavior, what people click, what they watch, what they skip. And humans? Well, we all have bias. Every one of us. That's not an opinion. It's been measured thousands of times. So if the algorithm is trained on biased human behavior and no one corrects for that bias, then the math itself becomes biased. It's not a glitch. It's not intentional. It's just what happens when you feed a machine data that was already broken. There's even a name for it, algorithmic bias, through biased training data. And the scary part? It becomes normalized and spreads farther and faster. What one biased human does occasionally, an algorithm does billions of times a day. It's automatic, basically invisible, with no fingerprints. So, when a creator with a brown face gets fewer recommendations than someone with a lighter skin tone, the algorithm didn't choose to be racist. It learned it from the audience. The algorithm has learned how to produce racially biased outcomes. The question isn't whether YouTube is trying to be fair. The question is, are they correcting for known human bias or merely reinforcing it and making it worse? YouTube has grown far beyond the reasonable limits of what can be considered a privately owned virtual space. Once an online community's number of users is much larger than the population of most towns, it has essentially become a public space located online. When you are the person being racially discriminated against, it doesn't matter whether it is done by a human or done by an algorithm. One thing is certain, it must be corrected. YouTube has the ability to program their algorithm to correct for racial bias against certain groups, but instead they elect to turn a blind eye as if it's not a racist outcome since the algorithm is not human. As so much of our everyday lives has migrated to the online space, anti-discrimination policies need to be enforced there as well. Accountability is a must. This is not just an issue for Black and brown creators, but for anyone who believes equality must endure, even in cyberspace. It's also not about one creator's grievance. It's about whether equality survives inside the systems, which are now deciding who gets seen and who has a voice in society. If this problem concerns you too, consider supporting the effort to make the next steps possible.